Being a partisan in Foxhole is one of the most thrilling and hated roles you can play. You're behind enemy lines sabotaging logistics, stealing tanks, and striking where it hurts the enemy the most. It's like being a pirate sneaking around on unsuspecting crews to steal their treasure. Or it's like ganking a player in an MMORPG game who is just trying to transfer resources from one city to the next. Players will curse your name, squads will hunt you down, and some players will call you the scum of the war. And yet that's part of what makes it so satisfying. It's important to understand that everything in Foxhole is player made. Every bullet, every weapon, every base, and even every tank. That's why when a partisan strikes, it really hurts. It's not just a truck lost, it's real life players' time, effort, and coordination, all gone in seconds. Some players have literally quit the game after being hit by a partisan ambush. That's how much of an impact this role can have. And listen, I get it. As someone who mainly plays Logi, I've felt that pain. At first, I hated partisans with a burning passion, but after a few hundred hours of playing, instead of raging about them, I became one. Knowing the ins and outs of Logi made me a better partisan. I knew the routes, the timing, the pain points, and how to be a complete nightmare for the enemy Logi players. Today we're diving into one of the most effective and most hated roles in Foxhole. I'll walk you through how to do partisan work at all levels of the battlefield, the front line, the midline, and the backline. As a frontline partisan, your goal is to cut off the enemy's supply lines to their most forward bases. For this role, I normally like to bring some type of automatic weapon like an SMG, Dusk, or Alto Storm Rifle, with 2 to 3 clips of ammo and a bandage in case I get hit and start bleeding. The first thing you're going to do in this role is identify which road the enemy team Logi is traveling down. I normally also bring 3 to 4 mammon grenades for my first run to punch a hole into their defenses if needed. Once you find a safe position along the road, set up somewhere hidden, ideally out of watchtower range and away from spots where Logi trucks might run you over. Then you wait. Being a partisan is all about patience. When the trucks roll in, you open fire, but don't focus too much on destroying every vehicle. Instead, aim to disrupt and slow them down. Chasing a damaged truck too far can get you killed by defenses or armed Logi players. It's better in my opinion to move around a lot and to stay unpredictable. This will help keep you alive longer to slow more trucks down that come your way. If your forward bunker has a bunch of wrenches, I recommend bringing one of those as well. You may have the opportunity to steal the Logi truck. You will either want to ram it into some defenses to be destroyed, or use it as a roadblock to stop other Logi trucks. If you die and your partisan run has been successful, grab your gear and go out again. And I would say if you're caught and taken out 2 to 3 times in the same spot, it's probably time to move. Either find a new spot or head to a different front altogether. And one last tip for frontline partisan work is ask players around your forward bunker to see if anyone wants to join you for a partisan run. Just 2 to 3 players are enough. Too many and you risk triggering a large enemy response. Overall, the frontline partisan role I believe is one of the most important roles to have on the front. If you can successfully delay the enemy's Logi, this can sometimes lead to starving out your enemies and gives your front line a chance to move forward. Remember, this role is all about being as annoying as possible. Next, let's look at being a midline partisan player. Midline partisans focus on stealing or destroying enemy vehicles deeper in enemy territory. For this role, you really want to focus on targeting tanks or artillery. You'll want the same basic gear as a frontline partisan, but this time make sure to bring a wrench and a recon uniform. The recon uniform keeps you hidden on the map, which is crucial if the enemy has lots of watchtowers. For this role, your main goal is to try and steal as many enemy vehicles as possible. Again, mainly focus on stealing tanks or anything that is artillery related. Don't worry about taking out Logi trucks while playing this role. Once you've found a vehicle that can be stolen, you will have 2 options. You can try to bring the vehicle back to your base, or you can find a way to destroy it. I would say in most cases the best option is going to be finding the quickest way to destroy it. In my opinion, I would say this role takes a little bit more knowledge about the game to master, and is not one you can easily jump into right away. If you want to bring more players along, I normally recommend maybe 1 or 2 other players join you. This role involves a lot more stealth compared to frontline partisan work. Overall, if you're able to succeed, then you will have the opportunity to weaken the enemy's tank line and possibly even stop their artillery from firing on your base. This can have a huge impact on the front lines. And finally, let's talk about the partisan role that primarily works in the backline, or what I like to call the final boss of partisan work. Backline partisans go after the most valuable targets in the game. super heavy tanks, storm cannons, and other high-end assets. This equipment takes facility players dozens of hours, sometimes days, to build and costs tons of resources and player time to make. This role takes the most preparation and coordination out of all other roles. You'll need a recon uniform, a wrench, high explosives, and likely a squad of experienced players. Doing this solo is possible, but only for very skilled and patient partisan players. Expect to spend hours scouting, planning routes, and coordinating when to hit the target. But once you pull this off, when you take out, let's say, a super heavy tank, it's one of the most satisfying moments in Foxhole. You've just erased days of effort in one coordinated strike. Players in the Foxhole community have set up dedicated discords for each faction specifically for those who focus on targeting high-value backline assets. They even use a point system to track and confirm successful missions. If you need a link to those discords, feel free to DM me on Discord. Partisan players are hated for a reason. They can ruin operations, waste resources, and cause chaos, but that's also what makes the role so rewarding. Here are some reviews left on Steam about being hit by a partisan. If you want to play Logi, prepare to get griefed by players whose only goal is to ruin your day. I logged out after that and I haven't touched the game since. End quote. Was trying to take supplies to my team and got destroyed. Why does the game reward this kind of play so much? I wasted a lot of time gathering supplies and making those items, and then they were all gone. Don't think I will be playing this game for a while. End quote. I gave this game a real shot. I liked the teamwork and the Logi aspect, but after getting taken out for a third time and wasting hours of my life, I couldn't take it anymore. I know this game might be for some people, but it's not for me. End quote. There are a lot more of these kinds of quotes, and I feel like I see a new one pop up every other day. I might sound a little mean for saying this, but if I can make another player that upset that I took out one of their trucks, that's almost more rewarding than taking out the truck itself. Now, I of course don't want players to quit the game entirely. I would love to help these players become better Logi players and learn how to avoid partisans like me. If you are someone that has quit Foxhole because you were hit by a partisan and want to come back, I would be happy to help you in-game with whatever you need to start playing again. Feel free to DM me on Discord anytime. I could also always help you become a partisan player, and then you could learn how they think and act. I personally didn't get into partisan play until I had about 400 plus hours of mainly doing Logi, and I always wish I would have gotten into it sooner. If you mainly play on the front line, I highly recommend learning how to play this role, as it's a good way to mix things up when playing on the front. I think it especially works well at night when things have slowed down and it's easier to sneak around. Overall, whether you're cutting Logi at the front, stealing tanks in the midline, or coordinating a raid on a storm cannon in the back, I think being a partisan gives you a way to play that has an impact on the war. You'll make enemies, you'll be hunted, but if you play it right, you'll also be the reason that enemies can't push, can't build, and can't win. Veteran partisan players, what advice would you give to players that want to start doing partisan work? What advice would you give to Logi players to avoid you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support. Make sure to subscribe for more Foxhole content. I'll see you out on the battlefield. Cheers.